Today we are talking about golden open slow drying acrylic paint. Open in the art world means it's slow to dry. It will be the consistency of the paint will be wet longer. So acrylic paint has the the unfortunate moniker of being a fast drying thing, which is why I love it, but it's very quick drying. The open means they will be open longer. They will be wetter longer. So we're going to talk about that today. Here's a brand new box. I just got them and they are for landscape. Now I've looked at all the colors. I'm a little dubious as to whether or not it's actually for landscape, and the reason being there's no brown in there. Okay, I have the colors that came in the set on the palette, and I arranged them in warm to cool. And then I have my white here and the thinner right there. What I don't see in this set, and I'm kind of surprised, as a landscape painter, there is no brown. So we're going to figure out right away what to do about that. I tap my brush in the water and I tap it off on a paper. I'm really wiping it off. It just needs a little bit of moisture to pick up the paint. So my thought is that I will take some of this yellow ochre, and I might mix some green with that. And now I'm going to mix some blue. I'm still not seeing brown. Okay, so this is the three colors that I mixed. I mixed the yellow ochre, the green, and the blue. Okay, so we are getting a very dark green, and that's very good, but it's not what we want. So let's go with the alizarin crimson, and let's try some reds, because red and green are opposite on the color wheel. That might get it. This is alizarin crimson and green. Oh yeah, looky there. We made ourselves a brown. Okay, so far I like how this is moving on the paper. I want to try mixing several things here. I want to see what colors they actually are. Okay, so here is the yellow. I'm just wiping my brush off with a paper towel. I'm not rinsing it or anything. So here comes the yellow ochre. I do really like how it goes on. This is watercolor paper, and it's just taped on a board. This is the cad red. So we have, like, this is really a cool yellow. This is a warm yellow. This is a warm red. This is a cool red. Here is the green by itself. And this is sap green. Now, if you wanted, in this one here, I mixed the blue, the yellow ochre, and the green. And so these are completely different. Let's just pick some of that up. So we're going to put that right by each other. Look at the difference in those two greens. Okay, and this is a much warmer, sap green is much warmer, and I cooled it down with the blue. Okay, so here comes the ultramarine blue. Here comes the manganese blue hue. I'm going to put that next to this over here. Ooh, I see good things happening there. Now, what I saw there, I'm going to pick up some of this yellow, and I'm going to mix it with some of that manganese hue. Ooh, look at that green. That is a bright spring green. Oh, I love that. Yep, I would be using that a lot in a landscape. Now that I know I can make that green, let's take a look at another green, with the yellow and the ultramarine blue. That's going to be a very cool green. Now I want to look at what happens with the yellow ochre and the manganese blue hue. That's a very interesting color. I'm going to put it up here by that. It gets darker green. This was the light one that we made with the yellow. This we made with the yellow ochre. I'm going to use the cad red and some of the green. Now remember, we wanted brown before. And that's what we got when we mixed the alizarin crimson and the green. This is what we get when we mix so that's a much warmer brown, and this is a much cooler, much darker brown. So what are we learning here? This mixing is really the only way to know what you get with the paints that you have. Now if I wanted, let's take a look here at the cad red, and let's add some yellow ochre to it. Let's see what happens there. So that's another value of like a rust color for a barn roof or for trees, bushes, all of these colors that you're making here. So when you open up your set and you see no brown, oh my, now what do I do? These all seem to be mixing very well. Here, we're going to take the green. Now you always pull your paint off and mix it over here. You don't pick it up here and put it on your painting. Okay, so we're gonna see what we have. Yep, very dark. Okay, so now we're gonna come over here and I'm just gonna, oh, you can totally make a nice tree with this color that we made. Again, I'm just mixing up a little more of it. I don't mix up a lot of paint at one time. Here comes this root, and up here. I would normally do this with a natural bristle brush. Now if I wanted to paint this hollow, let's add some blue off to the side of that to make it darker. There we go. So we're going to put a little hollow in that tree right there. And we're going to bring it all the way up there. There we go. Now I'm just picking up some of the green or the dark brown that we made. I'm going to come out here with a branch. Okay, now I'm going to rinse my brush out. Now here comes the fun part. We're going to try a script liner in this. I've never worked with this paint before, so I don't know what I'm rolling my brush in the thinner. Normally when you work with acrylic paint and a script liner brush, you want it to be more like ink and less like paint. So I'm picking up the paint over here and I'm rolling the brush in it, and then you roll it to get a good point. Okay. These brushes don't hold much, so you have to reload. Picked up a little more thinner. Well, I really seem to like how this is moving. I've seen several videos and product reviews on this, and many of them were not very, or at least one of them was really very negative, and I was quite intrigued because I thought, well, I've already bought this set, so I want to see how it's going to work. I'm picking up a little more thinner over here, but I'm liking what I'm seeing. Now, if you've gotten value from this video so far, how about giving me a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel. It really does help the channel to grow. Now, the other thing I want to see is how this blends. So I'm going to say my light is coming from this side. So I'm going to pick up some of this yellow ochre, maybe a little bit of the cadmium red. Oh, that's too much. Remember, red eats everything. Let's put a little bit of this lemon yellow in there. There we go. I don't think that actually is lemon yellow, but it's cad yellow primrose. Okay. So now if I wanted to put some highlight on the tree, I'm going to come in here like this. I like how it's blending. Yeah, I like this a lot. But this is a really good paint. Golden is a very good brand, and I happen to really like what's going on here with it. I really like how this sunlight blended in there, and then some of it didn't blend as much. I like that. You're supposed to use this relatively thin, and so because it takes a while to dry. So this may take a little longer to dry in there, but that's okay for me. This is an excellent set in my estimation. This is the box lid. So in case you wanted to look for it, it's a landscape set. I think they have a floral set also, but this is the landscape set. And just because it doesn't have brown in it doesn't mean you can't. We showed you exactly how to make a beautiful brown. Okay, so we've looked at a lot of different combinations, what we could actually make with the tubes of paint that we had. We actually did some work with it to see how it flowed, to see how it moved. Now, on acrylic paint, usually as it dries, it gets duller. And so I can't wait to see how this dries and to see if I'm going to need to highlight more on the sunny side of that tree. So at any rate, I thoroughly believe that this is worth the money and that it is an excellent paint, and I'm probably going to be using it a lot in the future. And you can put this over top of other acrylic paint. So if you have like an underpainting of a landscape or floral, and as you start to blend, you want to bring in these colors so you can so it'll blend easier and longer. Feel free to do that. You can mix the two, one on top of the other. I'm not sure if you can actually mix them together, but at any rate, this is a very viable point. And now I see it's still, like in here, it's still very shiny, so it's still wet. This is still wet. This is wet in here. I could easily move some things around. Give this a try. If you're an acrylic painter and you're frustrated by the how fast acrylics dry, this is a super alternative.